opportunity to work with Sharon prior to the TLP program, and I knew Sharon would be perfect for this program before Sharon even knew that she would be perfect for this program. Sharon is the realest person you would ever meet. Oftentimes when we're sitting somewhere, I take a glance at Sharon and look for her reaction because I can gauge what's happening based on Sharon's reaction. Thank you, Sharon, for always keeping us honest.
You're welcome.
And laughing during our Saturday meetings.
Good morning, everyone. I am Sharon Key Ward because my husband's back there. But I've been around a very long time and everyone just calls me Key. So when we got married, I just stuck with Key. So my research question is, can social emotional learning, which I will refer to as SEL, can social emotional learning strategies have a positive effect on chronic absenteeism for elementary students? I have been in the district for 28 years at the elementary level. So, and Tom, thank you for this clicker. I'm very excited about this clicker. So I clicked it the wrong way. I just couldn't wait to use it. So here we go. All right, so my agenda today is I will explain chronic absenteeism. I will also talk about SEL, social emotional learning strategies. And I will review data and surveys from the building where I work, which is School 22. So what is chronic absenteeism and how is it measured? So it's very simple. It has changed since 2022. Students who miss 15 or more days of school in a school year. Before it was 10 days, but in 2022 it kind of shifted to 15. So in 2016, the U.S. Department of Education called chronic absenteeism a hidden national crisis. So this isn't something recent. So back then, in 2016, they did research which found that 7.5 million students nationally missed nearly a month of school each year. So that's a lot. And in some cities, as much as 1 in 4 students would miss almost a month of school each year. So they called it a hidden crisis, but soon the crisis would no longer be hidden because of the pandemic of 2020. So this is just a quote. If you compare chronic absenteeism before the pandemic, you had 7.5 million students nearly missing a month of school. But 2022, which was our first full year back in person, it doubled to 15 million nationally. So the RCSD, in an attempt to help this chronic absenteeism, had a opening guidance for our first year back in person, and it dealt with social emotional learning. And basically, it was a top priority. They even had it embedded in our daily schedule. And it's something that they really suggested we use, wanted us to use, pretty much said, didn't say it was mandatory, but again, it was in our schedule, our daily schedule. So the 5 competencies of social emotional learning, I'm just going to break it down because I'm not going to read this very confusing slide out. One is self-awareness, and that's just when students and teachers recognize their value and their strength. Self-management, managing our behavior, managing our emotions. Social awareness is just having empathy for others. And relationship skills, which is like team building, working as a team. responsible decision-making, ethical, constructive choices about our personal and social behavior. So this is where I reside. This is where I live. This has been my life for 27 out of 28 years. So, in the year of 2021, I decided to go back into the classroom full time. I had been the restorative practice coach for 5 years, and there was a real need because some teachers didn't return, they resigned, and I really thought it would help if I went back in as a veteran to help out. So during that year, because I raised my hand, I was chosen to teach the no-shows and the chronically absent children from the year before. So they would have been in kindergarten, which means many of them didn't show up, never, got on Zoom, all of that. So this would be their first experience for most in first grade, because if you registered, you were passed along to the next grade, even if you never showed up. So my schedule consisted of, and we all did this at that time, morning meetings, restorative circles, culturally relevant curriculum. We needed to show posters and bulletin boards, but these are all the things that I helped the staff implement years prior because I was the coach. So the buy-in really came from the primary teachers, not so much the intermediate, but when we all came back in person, we all attempted to do these things. So my school 22, and this graph can be a little confusing, but we've always had an issue with attendance. When we moved from our neighborhood building, we moved into a high school for 3 years, and now we're at the place where I just showed on Upper Falls. However, it's not considered a neighborhood school. So we've always had issues with attendance. So that dark line even shows you, as low as the district average was in 2021, we still were a little below that. So we've always struggled. Oh, clicker. There you go. So I taught first grade in 2021, and now I'm teaching third grade, which are those students that I taught in first grade. So they're the same students. And I noticed that the year prior, when they were in second grade, they were leading us in attendance. And I was like, okay. So now that I have them again, I'm noticing some of those that were always absent are actually making an effort to come to school. So I surveyed, I tried to, 10 out of the ones that have shown improvement. And I also asked their parents to participate in the survey. So they are my former no-shows from that year I went back in the classroom. Tom helped me with that, so this is cool. I wanted to know what motivated them to attend school more and how they felt about SEL practices that are currently in place, which is still pretty much at the primary level, not so much at the intermediate level. So out of the 10 students, I had 8 participate and 7 of the parents, but all students that participated had consent to do so. 2 questions from that survey, which was a survey of about 5 questions for students, which I did in person with them. I just took these 2 questions out because it kind of went along with what they had already been taught from the very beginning. Do you enjoy morning meetings? 75% said yes. The other 25% maybe. And does having an attendance buddy make a difference in you coming to school? So the attendance buddy is a staff member, an adult, who has a group of students that are chronically absent, and they check on them. And they give them high fives, and they give them little rewards or treats, and it's always a celebration. So 50% said it made a difference. 25% said maybe, because we're still cool at 8 years old. And 25% just said no, it didn't make a difference. I asked the parents the same question, like, what's different? Why do you think, what's motivated your child to come to school more? Right? Not being bullied came from a parent. Loves her friends and teacher. Has a bus. Bus was huge for a lot. Teacher, loves his teacher, of course. And one parent said, I don't know, which is fine. So, does the implementation of SEL work? Well, as you can see, they were in the lead last year in second grade, and this is just in April, I got this information, and they're still in the lead, and they've consistently been in the lead for daily attendance. So that group that was introduced to this form of SEL has led our pack since. I feel that SEL, social emotional learning, does have a positive effect on chronic absenteeism. I recommend that RCSD should mandate the curriculum for all grade levels, especially at the elementary level. I also feel that even though they offer training, I think parents should be involved in the training aspect of it, and some new staff members who are not aware of what's going on, it should be promoted to them as well. District-wide, I think as students go from school to school, we should have mandated incentives for attendance. Over here, you may get a bike for improved attendance. Over here, you may get just a certificate. I think all in all, we should come up with a plan where everyone is on the same accord when it comes to an incentive for attendance. Because I'm old school, I also believe in truancy officers. I don't know if this is relatable to this day and age, but I do know one of the questions from my survey asked students why they don't come to school if they're not sick. Like, what is the reason you wouldn't come even if you're not ill? Many of them were very honest and just said, I don't want to come. The same question was posed to the parents, and they would say, oh, they missed the bus, or, but never the fact that the child just says, I don't want to come and don't have to come. And I think a lot of that has to do with our parents are home, many of them are not working, and, kids will point that out. Well, you're home, and I think someone coming to your door every now and again, or letting you know that we are aware that your child is home and should be at school, could be an incentive. So my presentation is like me, short and sweet. Are there any questions?